What's up, guys? Before we get into the fourth episode of Canvas Critique, I would like to take this moment and apologize for the long delay. Joey D's and I have both been very, very busy, and we just weren't able to get it done until now. And also, let's go ahead and shout out the winners of my Extreme Rules Predictions contest. So, first up, we have my friend Genesis. You can follow him on Twitter at Genesis1224. Brett Knight, follow him on Twitter at MegaBLK. Will Ware, you can follow him on Instagram at Will_FlashGame_Ware. And then two good buddies of mine, Logan, you can subscribe to him on YouTube, LH Games, and you may know him from episode 2 of Canvas Critique, Willie. You can follow him on Instagram at HeelValorYT. So without any further ado, let's get right into the show.
Long Neck Josh, the Joey D's. This is the Canvas Critique. It's a new day, yes it is! Has just picked up here tonight. Aggression!
The irresistible force meeting the immovable object.
R.K.O. He is broken! Ooh, yeah! Yes! Can't see me.
This is my yard now.
What you gonna do when Hulkamania in the largest arms in the world run wild on you?
I lie! I cheat! I steal! Yeah! Stone Cold! Stone Cold! Stone Cold! The Austin era has begun!
And that's the bottom line, cause Stone Cold said so.
The man!
The boyhood dream has come true.
Just sit back, relax. It's gonna get good. Rest in
What is up, everybody, and welcome to the fourth episode of Canvas Critique. Today, we will be reviewing the horror show at Extreme Rules, which was a pretty good pay-per-view in my opinion, and we'll go through each of the matches like we always do. But first, let me introduce my co-host, of course, Mr. Joey D's.
What's up, what's up, what's up? Welcome back to Canvas Critique, episode 4. We missed you guys. It's been a long time.
Yes, we have. And our special guest, who was also one of the winners of my predictions contest, Dominic's Wrestling Show.
Hi, everyone.
So, yeah. You guys ready to dive in?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right. So, kicking off on the kickoff, make sure I'll say it this time.
Yeah, it's not
Kevin
it's
Owens.
not the pre-show.
Kevin Owens faced off against Murphy. I honestly didn't watch the match because I wasn't home, but I'll let Joey and Dominic go ahead and discuss that a little bit.
Yeah, go ahead, Dominic.
In my opinion, these are two of the best on Raw, and I felt that this match would have been, if it had some build, this could have been a match on the main card, and I feel like it should have been. I didn't like it was on the pre-show.
Right.
Yeah, I agree with that. Both of these guys, way too talented, I think, for the pre-show, for the kickoff show, and they definitely put on a good match. Really fast pace, especially at the beginning. A lot of countered moves. Yeah, really entertaining. I thought it was good. Definitely a good way to kick things off for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, Kevin Owens ended up picking up the win. So, do you think that was the right decision to have Kevin Owens beat Murphy?
I probably think it is. Storyline wise, kind of Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins are kind of having so Seth Rollins is kind of feuding with 6 people at once right now. But I feel like probably that was the right decision in the storyline if they're going to continue the Kevin Owens Seth Rollins thing because they've been fighting a lot and it's like Seth Rollins is in a million feuds at once, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. But I mean, that's a good thing for him, because he deserves to be getting that exposure and being on TV a lot. But yeah, I think it was definitely the right move.
For sure. So, moving on now to the main show, we kick things off with a tables match for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. Big E and Kofi Kingston, aka The New Day, defended their titles against Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura in what I think was a pretty entertaining match.
I agree with that.
A lot of moments where you just didn't know who was gonna win.
Yep, definitely. You know what? I'm a fan of starting pay-per-views off with tag team matches just because it keeps everyone fresh and it keeps things moving. A lot of action inside the ring, a lot of action outside the ring, especially with the New Day. You never know what you're going to get with those guys. So, it's always good seeing Big E hit that spear through the ropes.
I really, if the New Day won that match, I really wanted to see him spear somebody through the ropes through the table.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I thought at one point that was going to be how this match might have ended. There were a couple close calls with the tables, but the finish, man, was epic.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, injuring Kofi Kingston in a horrific fall through 2 tables.
Yeah, I didn't think they were going to pull that move out. I mean, even when they set those tables up, I thought it was kind of just to throw everybody off, but that was epic, man. That was good.
Yeah, and of course, like Dominic just mentioned, Kofi Kingston being injured, and is this now time for Big E to have a singles push?
I think it would. I think he's pretty talented, and this might be kind of a one-time thing for maybe 4 or 5 months until all the New Day get back together. But I think this could be a fun thing to be a change, and I think this could be good.
Right.
Yeah,
of course.
This could be Big E's big moment in his career because, like Dominic said, it could be just for a few months until these guys come back, especially Woods. Woods should definitely be coming back pretty soon. But I think it's one of those situations or scenarios where if he does well enough on his own, it may just force them to keep him on his own. Or maybe bring the New Day back eventually soon and break them up just so they can keep Big E by himself.
Yeah, I can see that.
I can definitely see Big E succeeding, on his own to a high level where, and we've seen over the past couple months, right? Or even over the past year or so, they're giving other people an opportunity that we never thought they would, especially with this whole pandemic hit. They got rid of a lot of lower grade. I don't want to say lower grade stars because there were a lot of really talented stars that they got rid of too, but they got rid of guys that they weren't using a lot. And I think now you need to create new stars, and not that Big E's not a star already, but you got to switch things up and do something different. So I think this is a good opportunity for that. And I'm a big Big E fan.
I agree, and I think he should have a success. I hope his singles run is successful, but at the same time, the New Day are like one of the I've even heard people throw out one of the best tag teams of all time and things like that with everything they've done. That I just feel like I I think the Big E singles run will be great, but I don't really want it to be the end of the New Day.
Yeah, I agree with that too. I don't ever want to see the New Day come to an end. But I kind of do, because it'd be interesting to see how they do that. But you're right. I don't think now is the time to do that.
Right,
So
and a lot of people.
Yeah, go ahead,
Go
man.
ahead, Joey.
No, it's okay.
Oh,
I'm just saying, if they do keep them together, they can still give Big E most of the shine. They can keep him as like the singles guy, and Kofi and Woods can be the tag team guys. Because
Yeah, they can
Kofi,
basically do what they did last year with Kofi, but with Big E instead.
right, exactly. Because Kofi's already had his shine, right, for years now, and Woods plays that role where he's not going to be the greatest in-ring guy. He leads with his spirit and his words and his motivation, but he's not going to be the greatest wrestler out of the three ever. So he doesn't really need that opportunity right now, at least, to be a singles guy. So this is definitely Big E's time. I feel that.
Yeah.
Right. And as much as I'd love to see Big E win the Universal Championship, and with the other two New Day members out, I just personally don't think it's really the best scenario, because you have a good thing going with Strowman and The Fiend right now, obviously. And for one thing, The Fiend needs to win this match at SummerSlam.
Oh, yeah.
Take back the championship.
Oh, yeah.
But that's the thing. I feel like if The Fiend wins, and then you have him lose the title to, Big E, a few months later, I think The Fiend should at least hold the title until WrestleMania.
Here goes Josh looking way far ahead now.
You know what? You did the same thing.
Listen, things have changed, man. And when did I do that?
You did it a few episodes ago.
Well, things have changed since a few episodes ago. And I just don't ever know where they're going with anything anymore. I know what you're saying, with the Fiend and everything, but I don't think they're thinking like that. I think they're just thinking let's, get as many new names out there as we can in the title picture, and then they kind of figure it out last minute, I feel like, and whether it's the Fiend that wins it and loses it 3 months later or a year later, he's going to have to lose it at some point. So there's got to be someone that they got to get somebody ready. I don't think Big E by any means should be beating the Fiend, not even at WrestleMania or in a year from now. But they what they say. Never say never. You don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, I think I was going to say, since Big E is having this singles push, at least, if they do, bring back Kofi and Woods and they still remain a tag team unless they decide to break them up, I think that Big E right now should have his sights on the Intercontinental Championship.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind the Big E IC title run, but yeah, I think that could be a fun match. Big E versus AJ Styles too.
Yeah, and I mean, if you look back to his days in NXT, he beat Seth Rollins to become NXT champion. So if we get that dominant Big E back, 3 ain't enough men, I need 5, and have him win the Intercontinental Championship. Honestly, either or. I think either or would work with him.
I think he'd be on his own. He'd be a better heel.
Yeah, I think maybe he goes heel, and then in a few months, maybe when the New Day come back, he goes back face.
Yeah, they can get him.
Short thing. It can be kind of an experiment.
Yeah, and they can bring him back to his lighter days, or Big E can go heel, and that can bring New Day back when New Day comes back together. That can bring them back to heels, because if you do remember, they started off as heels.
Yeah,
it wasn't good. But
no, they actually started off as faces.
Did they?
Yeah, people just were booing them.
Well,
so they turned them heel pretty quickly.
They were heels at one point, and it didn't go good. But all I'm saying is, now that they are who they are, everyone knows the New Day to be such lovable faces. To see them go full-blown heel again would be great, because they've done feuds in the past where they've acted heel, but never truly, when they did their stuff with the Usos, it was kind of back and forth. Like it wasn't really face versus heel type stuff, but they showed some heel characteristics in there. But I want, like, if you're gonna bring them back heel, they have to go full blown like dark heel, and just kind of like completely opposite of what they are now. But again, like that's if they plan on keeping them together for a while, which I think they do.
Right.
I think they should.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see where this Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura thing goes. Kind of glad that they won the tag titles, but at the same time, like, Cesaro, he's won so many tag championships in the past. Like, we really want to see him get a big singles push.
Oh yeah.
And Nakamura, the same. Like, he hasn't been a world champion in WWE yet, and I feel like he's somebody that could still be world champion caliber.
Yeah.
So.
Part of me kind of thinks that I feel Nakamura and Cesaro can have a great title reign, but I kind of feel like the point of it was to make, because they kind of had, or maybe Kofi was injured ahead of time and they had to take him out or something like that. But I think a big reason for it was so that they can win it back in the future and they can keep on trying to become the tag team with the most title reigns.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. What are they at now? Like 8?
Yeah, I think so.
I think it's 8 or 9. I'm not really keeping track.
And what's the record? 12?
Honestly, I don't know what the record is.
I know it's by the Deadbeats. For some reason, I thought it was like 15, but that might just be me.
Yeah. I think it's maybe 12, between 12 and 15. I thought it was maybe 12 or 13, but I'll look that up.
I'm not completely sure.
But
I feel like whatever this New Day will be breaking it within maybe 4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they've already been together for what, 6?
Yeah. They'll break it in less than 4 years, I think.
Yeah.
But regardless, I'm excited to see where this thing with Cesaro and Nakamura as a team goes, and I'm actually interested to see if Sami Zayn rejoins them when he comes back.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So we'll have to see how that all plays out. But moving from the SmackDown Tag Team Championship to the SmackDown Women's Championship, in a singles match, Bayley defended the championship against Nikki Cross. And honestly, like, I think it was a good match. Like, I think a lot of people slept on this match. Didn't expect it to be as good as it was.
Yeah, I kind of did too, because reading into the storyline, and I feel like this might have still been what it was kind of, I kind of thought of it as being, I didn't make it feel like the biggest deal, because it kind of just felt like some kind of just filler until a bigger challenge and I'm not saying Nikki Cross is a bad wrestler, she's great, but from the feud, it just seemed like was more of a filler for Bayley to defend against, like, I don't know, Shayna Baszler or something like that at SummerSlam.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Sasha Banks.
Yeah, see, and my thing with Nikki Cross is very entertaining to me. But I felt like she had no chance to win this match, especially with the whole thing they have, with them both holding titles and stuff right now. Mm-hmm. So
right,
it's nothing made me believe that Nikki Cross was going to win here. But I have an update, real quick before we move forward. Team with the most tag team title reigns is the Dudleys with 8. Okay.
8?
Yeah.
8?
Edge has the most individual reigns with 12.
I knew that.
Okay, so that he's had 12, but with different partners. 2 teams have held the titles for a year or more, and that's Demolition and New Day.
Kofi, I think Kofi's right on Edge's tail with most titles as an individual.
How many do the New Day have?
I don't think. I'm not sure. I don't think. Oh, I was gonna say I don't think Kofi's had too many times other than a New Day, but I just remember him with like Arch, whoever he teamed with back in the day.
Yeah, Because you have, I
Yes.
think it's 8 times with the New Day, and then he won the tag titles at least 3 more times because he tagged with Punk, he tagged with R-Truth, and he tagged with Evan Bourne.
Yeah, they've had 8 tag team title reigns. The New Day.
Yeah, so that's
Also-
at least 11 for Kofi.
Oh,
So
I don't think
they
they're
have tied
counting.
the record of the Deadly Boys.
Well, I don't think they're counting it in there because
Oh,
it's
Deadly's at first.
well, no, it's a 3-person team,
Oh yeah.
so it's more of a faction than a tag team. And I think
Mhm.
what they're also saying is, because like sometimes it was technically Big E and Kofi that won them. Sometimes it was Woods and Kofi or Woods and Big E. So like when they won the actual match, that's how they consider it. That's what I'm reading here, at least. I don't know how they rule that, but I consider it 8 tag team title reigns.
Yeah, I
that's
would.
what I consider it too.
So either way,
That
pretty
would be
impressive.
like saying like the Freebirds won a tag team.
Well, I mean, they are a tag team, but when a faction,
Right.
I don't know how they're counting it here where I'm looking. So, but yeah, so they're tied.
Okay. So moving on, what were we talking about? The SmackDown Women's Championship. Are we pretty much done with that? We all said Bayley won. We kind of saw it coming, but it was a pretty good match.
Yeah.
So the finish was great, though.
Yes.
Sasha giving the boss fingers.
Yeah.
And Bayley hitting. Yeah, that was good. Real good.
And of course, we all kind of expected Sasha to play a role.
And that's what we talked about before, Josh, on other episodes and other conversations we had. Bayley and Sasha being heels, like true heels. This is it right here.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
And moving on to, I think, one of the most gruesome matches in WWE history, like pulling out somebody's eye.
Except for the fact that nothing happened that we never seen before, like a month before that.
But like,
let me start with this one.
Okay.
Didn't live up to anything that it should have been.
Yes.
And going into this, obviously, if you have any brain at all, you're saying to yourself, how are they going to pull this one off? Because they're literally telling us that you win the match by pulling someone's eye out. I've been watching this stuff long enough to know that no one's eye is getting pulled out. And there's nothing they can do to make it look like that. So they went with the lazy route, and they finished the match the same way the feud started. So it was boring to me because when Rey Mysterio's eye went into the steel stairs, I thought somehow he was going to come through and fight past that, because we've already seen it before. So why did they go that way with it? Why didn't he grab a pair of pliers, or why didn't he take a screwdriver to his eye and at least look like he was ripping his eye out? But there was nothing for me there. Nothing.
Yeah, this match was, I thought it was a good match, but even not counting the finish, I did kind of have higher expectations for some reason. But also, the finish, I feel this whole match should have been a cinematic match instead of kind of what it was. And I kind of wish maybe they do like CGI. If they could have done anything to at least make it look like his eye was getting pulled out.
Yes,
I
dude,
think they could have they could have changed that.
Yeah.
100% agree, man. That's a good idea. And you know what? I didn't think of that. All the cinematic stuff they've been doing, they should have done this in a dark, eerie looking place, creepy, and they should have made it look like Mysterio really lost an eye.
Because especially if it's dark, they can kind of get away with it's so hard to see, and for some
you could have gotten really gruesome with the blood and stuff, and they didn't do it. They fell short.
Yeah, for some reason I expected this match to be on the roof. Like they just brawl on. It's like a cinematic. They brawl on the roof just for a cool place to have it.
Yeah, they didn't do anything good here. I didn't
I was
think.
kind of disappointed when they both when they both made their entrances into the arena.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also, where was Dominic for this?
Yeah, no, I don't even remember. No Murphy, no Aleister Black, no Kevin Owens.
I just can't
There wasn't
believe
anyone.
I think Alistair Murphy did.
no one got involved in this match.
Because the whole thing going is like a feud with like 8 guys, and they didn't really use none of them,
For the
especially
most
since it's
important.
like you can't get DQ'd. None of them came out to like brawl and
Yeah.
do things like that.
Totally stupid, man.
Right.
I said the same thing. This was straight up just a no disqualification match for me. And nothing had, they didn't bring, I couldn't believe Dominic, he's all worried about his father. And then this match comes along and he doesn't even show up. I don't know. I don't know why.
One thing for me is throughout the match, there were many times where I thought Ray was gonna win, and
Well,
it's
I
like
knew Seth was going to win.
he. I had a feeling that Seth was gonna win too,
Well, because
but
I knew they were going somewhere further with Dominic.
right, and Ray did so much more to Seth's eye than Seth did to Ray's eye, so like it just like Seth didn't do much to get Ray's quote unquote eye out.
And
I feel like go ahead.
even though I get it's like unrealistic and things like that, I kind of feel like if they were gonna do eye for an eye, smashing someone's eye against steel steps isn't the best way to do it. I'm not even sure if it would come out. I feel like they should use like there were many things they even used, but they should have been involved in the finish. Screwdriver, maybe like a stomp onto maybe a stomp on like thumbtacks, something
Oh,
crazy, but like something like that where it where it would feel more like that would happen if someone were to like if someone got stomped on thumbtacks or something like that, it'd be more believable for the eye to come out.
Right. And I
yeah.
think for
Instead of just
me,
pressing it into steel stairs.
yeah, for me, like the finish definitely could have been a lot better, but I think Seth's like reaction, like
Oh,
I think
yeah,
that
that
was
was
good.
good. Yeah, he
Yeah,
finished.
Didn't he throw up a little bit?
Yeah. You think he really made himself throw up in his mouth, or do you think they stopped the camera and gave him something?
they probably
I
stopped the camera and gave him something. I
yeah,
think
that's what I
because
think.
I could believe someone throwing up if someone actually saw someone's eye come out, but I think it's pretty obvious that was a rubber eye. That I feel like they gave him something.
Yeah. Or
Right.
I mean, he could have made himself throw up too. I don't know how, but there's ways. See, I'm sure he could have figured that out.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyways, that was a strange match, man. Disappointing for me.
And then after that, we moved back to more women's action. The Raw Women's Championship on the line. Asuka defending against Sasha Banks. And, like you said earlier, just a perfect example of Sasha and Bayley doing more heel stuff.
Yes.
I thought this was a great match with a questionable finish. Well, I feel like there could have been a better finish.
Well, yeah, because it wasn't a finish.
Yeah, I ended in no contest.
No, it ended. They called it official, but changed it the next night.
Well, yeah.
I was confused on multiple occasions here tonight what champion is. From MVP declaring himself the U.S. champion
Yeah.
to this.
Oh my god, we forgot to mention that, and I think that was like the second segment of the night. So we'll talk about that after this.
That didn't happen yet in the show.
It didn't?
I'm pretty sure it was right before Eye for an Eye.
Was
Yeah.
it? Okay. All right, we get back to that whenever you're ready.
Yeah,
Okay.
back to Asuka and Banks.
I thought this match was just amazing, and probably two of the best women in WWE just doing what they do best in 23 minutes. I'm glad they gave them that time.
Wow, it was that long, huh?
I thought it was like 23 minutes.
20
Yeah.
minutes.
Something like that, 20.
Yeah.
But it's like so much better than like back when they would give them 3 or something like that, and they can't really do anything.
Right.
And this was the
Yep.
longest match of the night.
Yeah, the longest match, and it was my match, even
Your
with
ma-
the finish.
your match of the night right here.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I thought it was just a very fun match. Other than if it wasn't for the dumb finish, I probably would have liked it even more. But overall, it was just a very fun match, in my opinion.
And of course, you had Bailey putting on the referee's shirt at the end. Like Dee said, like, just great heel work done by them. And, excited to see where they go with this. I mean,
Yeah, I
obviously,
thought.
Sasha is the
Well, I'll
Raw
tell
Women's
you where they're
champion
not
now.
going with it. I'll tell you where they're not going with it. They're not going with the Sasha and Bailey feud in Boston at SummerSlam.
I think that I get it won't be in Boston with the whole hometown thing, but I think that they're holding on to it so much that they're pushing it to WrestleMania.
Oh, they better do it at WrestleMania.
That'd be great.
But
And I mean, now you have, because Bailey's from California, right?
Bailey's from Cali. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
Gotcha.
you can do it in Bailey's hometown. Yes, and that would be good because you need to keep
Bailey
Sasha as the
turned face.
heel. Yep.
Yes.
Let's do that.
I remember
I
we
kind of
discussed that a lot.
originally, whenever I first heard SummerSlam would be in Boston, and of course that story was playing out, I kind of thought that meant Sasha was going face to win the title in SummerSlam at SummerSlam.
That's what they
Oh.
wanted to do, and that would have been a bad idea because Sasha should be heel. Sasha needs to be heel. Bailey needs to be face. There's no other option. And
Yeah.
if they were going to do it the other way, it would have been bad. So I'm glad they didn't do it this way. So now they can do it in Bailey's. They could do it in Bailey's home state, which won't matter because it's Mania. So it's really no home field advantage. But they could still do it where Bailey's the face. They have to do it where Bailey's the face.
Yeah.
And you'll know as soon as she starts growing her hair back.
Or even if she keeps she
No.
probably have to grow her hair back.
Have to grow the hair
Right
back.
now she looks like a Karen.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but part of me is kind of curious if WWE will think having her grow her hair back will kind of maybe give away a face turn.
Yeah, they don't. They've done dumber stuff in the past, though.
Yeah.
You know, they probably wouldn't even think about. There's probably like a room full of 40 people, and they probably wouldn't even think of that. They'd be like, "Yeah, just tell her to grow her hair back." And then 6 months in, people are talking about it online. They're like, "Oh, well, we shouldn't have done that."
Yeah. Well, regardless, I think they definitely need to hold off the Sasha and Bailey feud at least until one of them drops one of their titles.
Yeah, I feel like I know after this they had the whole thing on Raw with Sasha winning. I kind of feel like Sasha shouldn't really have had the title. I feel like it should have just been 2 belts Bailey and Sasha as the tag titles.
Yeah,
So,
Bailey dual straps.
so what'll happen is my prediction here. They'll lose the tag titles at some point before Mania.
Yeah.
And they'll both keep their titles until Mania, and then they'll go title for both titles at Mania.
No, that's what I don't want to see happen.
Well, but they would do that because they already
Yeah.
did it. They already did it a couple years ago for 2 titles. That was on 2 different people. It'd be the same thing, just in a singles match now.
And they didn't even need to do it 2 years ago. I mean,
No,
you
they
had
never
Asuka
needed
as
to
the
do it.
SmackDown Women's Champion. You could have had her in a separate match and just had the triple threat for the Raw Women's title.
Just saying
Yeah.
they could do. They could do it for both titles at Mania because they think it makes it look bigger that way.
No,
You know, they
honestly,
My prediction is that let's go maybe on a Raw after Royal Rumble, like a few weeks after Royal Rumble. Sasha's about to win, and then Bayley distracts the referee, and behind the ref's back gives Banks a belly to belly, but it turns her face, and Sasha loses her Raw Women's title to maybe Asuka in a rematch, and then they have to give up the titles leading up to a big tournament that concludes at WrestleMania, and they both fight for the SmackDown Women's title at Mania.
okay. Or you could pull something like they did with Rollins and Ambrose, where, of course, after Ambrose turned on Rollins after winning the Raw tag titles, Rollins still went out and defended in a handicap match against AOP and lost. So they could do that with Bayley.
Yeah, I can see that, and yeah, that would make also better her being a face. It can kind of tell the story more of her turning face.
Yeah, because
Right.
she's out there defending the title still. Yeah, I don't know. They could go a lot of different ways with that, but they'll go with the worst way.
Yeah, I can see title
Yeah.
for title, even though at this point, I think holding two titles maybe before it happened a lot would be like this huge deal. But now, Keith Lee recently had both titles.
Yeah.
Sasha has two titles. Bayley has two titles. Nobody really cares about two titles anymore.
I
No,
think
I
the
never
thing
did.
with Keith Lee, though, is because, like, he actually relinquished the North American title, which I think was a smart move.
Mhm.
Focus on being the NXT champion.
Yeah.
So,
I did think that him using kind of the North American title as him winning the NXT title was cool, but I don't think having two titles is a bad idea in the first place. But when it happens 4 times a year, I feel like they could have maybe kept Bayley with both belts since it's kind of done a lot. Have Banks not have won the Raw Women's title, but also
yeah,
have Keith Lee win
100%.
both titles. Because I feel like those two are important, and I feel Sasha winning the Raw Women's title is just unneeded.
But it happened. And, you know, we can't really do anything to convince WWE to change their minds. So, we just have to live with it.
Well, we could tell them to listen to Canvas Critique.
Yeah.
Right, but what's the difference that 3 people like us is going to make
Josh.
instead of, like...
Josh. We're more important than anybody else.
Here's another way they could do this is they don't ever turn on each other. They keep this going forever. It seems like
Sami Zayn
something
and Kevin
they
Owens
might,
were. Yeah,
I feel like they try
We'll
something
see.
like that. Because there are some positives, because Bayley and Banks, I'm not the biggest fan of some of the things they do, but they're very over from what people are saying. It just seems like people really like them.
Oh, yeah, I think they're definitely, like, one of
I
the main
love them.
attractions on Raw and SmackDown.
Yeah, I love Bayley and Banks. Hey, what's up with Kairi Sane, by the way?
Oh, she left.
She's gone, huh?
Yeah,
She
she's
left
not
in
with the
like the
company
dumbest
anymore.
way possible.
Did I miss something? How did she leave? I didn't see it.
Well, she was talking about like I don't know where she said this, but I heard she said she was going to leave WWE to go to fight in Japan, and then that when Sasha won the Raw Women's title and they attacked Bayley, Bayley attacked Kairi Sane backstage. Kairi like tweeted, "Thank you WWE for the memories" and things, something like that. And then there was a YouTube video, Kairi Sane's greatest moments, and I think that.
So she never had her final way out. It was getting attacked backstage by Bayley.
Yeah, it's really stupid.
Okay. I thought I missed something. I saw the attack. I didn't see anything after that, and I just saw it on Instagram that she was gone.
I
I'm
mean,
like,
you
what?
think about it too, like, it's kind of almost the same way Gallows and Anderson went out. Like, Undertaker did
Yeah,
the
I mean,
whole Boneyard match.
I'll take Undertaker putting me out any day
Yeah,
in a
that's true.
Boneyard match at WrestleMania, but on a Raw backstage,
Yeah, really. I thought it was a really stupid way to have her leave. I was
They
thinking
could have
maybe she leaves. She doesn't have to win, but she
have
has
her
like
go out and have a fantastic match. She
yeah,
should go out and
just has
have
enough.
a 5-star match with somebody if
Oh yeah,
possible, and then just announce it after.
Yeah,
I
here's
think
an
you
idea. They don't announce. She says nothing about her wanting to leave WWE or planning on leaving WWE. She gets a title match against Bailey, but if she loses, she must leave WWE, and it would be
that's what I was
shocking.
about to say.
And she loses, but no one, like people, didn't really see it coming because she said nothing about wanting to leave out loud or to like other people knew.
Right. But, really quickly, thank you, Kyrie, for, she's put on some incredible matches. Of course, she didn't reach her full potential on the main roster. They stuck her with Asuka pretty much the whole time she was up there, which isn't a bad thing, but at the same time, they could have definitely given her a singles push on the main roster.
Yeah.
But
Anyway, not on the main. In NXT, did she get one?
Yeah, she was NXT
I'd
Women's
say so.
Champion.
Yeah, she was for a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, on the main roster, she should have got something, but I guess if she chose to leave, then I guess that's kind of her choice. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what the situation is. I don't know why she's leaving. Is it because of the virus or something?
I
back-
think
I don't. I
she
think she
just
just wants to go
wanted to
back to
wrestle in
Japan.
I think the main reason was she wanted to see I think husband or boyfriend and who lives in Japan and
Her husband or
more
boyfriend?
time.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought that was the story.
I don't know. I just was wondering while we were on the subject of the women. But hey, so don't forget the United States Championship story.
Yes, I was about to say. Of course, we had that whole stint. MVP came out, had the referee. Did he have the referee count to 10?
Yeah. No.
I don't even remember him bringing the referee in. He just kind of said Apollo Crews got injured. I think he really got coronavirus or something like that. I thought was really,
Yeah.
but and he kind of just you're new United States champion. And he went to go grab the belt and he said MVP. And I kind of,
Oh,
when I first saw this, I thought he was officially the champion.
Well, I
I
don't
thought
think
he
he
I
could have
was.
didn't
got.
think it would just
Yeah.
be this big confusing thing. I thought like Apollo Crews was going to be injured for maybe like a while, and
Yeah.
he was just a new champion. I
And
didn't
then I thought
realize till the
Apollo
next
was gonna
night that it
come back.
was.
Well,
I thought
Apollo
Apollo was
came
gonna
right
come
back.
back and win the title back.
Yeah,
What?
like.
Well, I
But
thought he did.
well, he was really the champion the whole time.
Yeah,
Like, I think what we're saying is we kind of expected MVP to be the new champion. Like, Apollo
Gotcha.
Crews had to vacate it, and then he comes back and wins it back.
Okay.
But regardless, Apollo Crews is the United States champion. He beat MVP on Raw, and of course he has the new belt too. The new belt design is awesome.
for
It's
me, the new belt when I first saw it, I didn't really like it, but it's definitely since looking at it, it's growing on me.
I think it's the best looking
I was
championship
gonna
on the
say
main roster.
what? I
For
was
me,
gonna say
there's
it
that.
can grow. It can grow on me.
For me, there's also the IC title. I really like that.
The
Honestly,
new
I
one or
think
the white one?
The new one. The white one was great too, but I like the new one even
I
more.
honestly don't really like the new one.
I don't either.
I didn't like it at first, but since look I guess for some reason it just changed. Now I really like it.
Yeah.
I like the old U.S. title.
Yeah.
with the American flag on it and stuff. It just
Right.
seems more. I don't know. The new one's kind of. I'm not used to it yet.
Yeah. And I think
It's
it's
not
the same
horrible,
thing with
though.
the Intercontinental Championship.
Well, they're
we're
just
not.
trying to make. They're trying to make most titles look like the main, the world title.
There's
The shape and
too many.
kind of like the plating on the front and everything.
Right, and that
So-
was so stupid. Like, I was expecting back in 2016 some amazing design with the Universal Championship when they revealed it, and then they just pulled
Oh,
it
I love
out, and
I love the Universal Championship.
When I
for me,
first
like, it
heard
looked like a
about
fruit roll-up. Like, God.
when I first heard about the Universal Championship before I got to see it, I was kind of expecting it to be like probably even like drawn by someone, like a picture of the universe with like stars, planets, and in front of it says Universal Championship.
No, just a big old logo.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's basically the WWE Championship, but it was red at the time. Now it's blue.
Yeah. It's not even that
The old
it has like I don't think the WWE Championship looks bad. I think it's a good title. The problem is that there's 4 titles that are, other than the colors,
Right.
completely identical. That's the only problem.
with the women's and and
Yeah.
the old world heavyweight title, the front gold plate, where Triple H held it for a long time,
Yeah.
like 2002 to I don't know how long it was around for, maybe 13. I think it went away.
Yeah.
When Daniel Bryan won both titles.
That was my favorite title of all time. My favorite belt.
No, Randy Orton won both titles first.
Yeah.
Yeah, Randy Orton won it.
Daniel Bryan, and John Cena, then Brock Lesnar, and then
And I mean,
I think
they
after
still had
Brock,
Roman
the
Reigns.
title around, and then, like I think you were about to say, Brock Lesnar won it SummerSlam 2014, and then they revealed the next night like the new championship.
Oh yeah.
So
but
Yeah,
I do
I'm not used to. Go ahead, man.
I do wish the big gold would come back because it felt like such a big. It looks like, from the look of it, like a match for that title just feels like such a big deal.
Yeah. It was all the history.
All right, so moving on to what we were just talking about, the WWE Championship was contested in an Extreme Rules match, but the Extreme Rules stipulation only applied to Dolph Ziggler. So, McIntyre couldn't use weapons, couldn't do low blows, and furthermore, if McIntyre got counted out or disqualified, he would have lost the title. So I think this was a very smart move on Dolph Ziggler's part with this stipulation.
But another thing is, I could have seen McIntyre winning coming originally, but as soon as it was Extreme Rules for Dolph Ziggler only, that almost like 100% McIntyre's winning.
Yeah.
So I thought, like, at that point, it was just obvious.
Right.
But still, I thought this match was still a pretty fun match.
Right. And of course, like, you see Ziggler doing all the typical heel stuff because, like, he actually can, because the rules of, like, he can do it, Drew can't.
Yeah, and I thought that it was a fun match. It could have been better, but of course, the whole point of this was, again, it was kind of a filler feud for Orton McIntyre at SummerSlam.
Right. And
So,
it wasn't even supposed to be Orton McIntyre at SummerSlam. I think the original route they were going was McIntyre and Mahal. But
McIntyre and who?
Jinder Mahal.
Are you serious?
I think that's what they were going with.
With the
that's
crowd?
a match you wouldn't feel that off if it were the main event of a live event.
Wait a minute. Are you telling me they were going to do McIntyre and Mahal at SummerSlam with the crowd in Boston?
Oh my
No,
gosh.
like with a crowd or without a crowd, I think they were planning to do it regardless, but Jinder got injured
Oh, I
again.
thought you said they were doing it with a crowd and then they went away from it because there's no crowd. Because I would never cancel my plans on Mahal because there's no crowd. He doesn't need a crowd.
Right.
No one likes him.
No,
Yeah,
he just got
honestly,
injured
if he's
again.
in a match, it might be better without a crowd. Because
Oof.
if there were one, it would just be him getting booed the whole time.
You can't beat Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania and then defend your title against Jinder Mahal 4 months later.
Yeah, because I feel like
Right.
then Ziggler, you could kind of tell by how Ziggler's been treated. If there were a feud, I feel like him and Jinder Mahal could have they could have a feud that ends on a Monday Night Raw, and it won't be like one of those things where it felt like it should have been
They can
somewhere more.
never have a feud, and I wouldn't care.
Because I'm not a big
3MB.
because he's just not the best wrestler in the world or top 500. But
Yeah.
I just feel like that match just doesn't feel like a big deal. And if they were treated like a big deal, treating them making if they made like McIntyre versus Mahal bigger than like McIntyre versus Mahal, they make it be like a bigger deal than McIntyre versus Ziggler. Because Ziggler's a much better wrestler than Mahal. These
Way
two
better. Way better.
miles
Yeah.
better.
Even though the feud was filler, Ziggler's not filler. And
I think
well, they might as well just bring Heath Slater back and have a triple threat. I mean, if you really want to do this 3MB thing, then just do it.
But I think the
right.
problem is he's already an Impact now.
Oh, I
Yeah.
know. Then I mean, I just don't understand what the big obsession with this 3MB thing with McIntyre and Mahal, because Mahal was never anything special to me. Even when he won, I never took it serious. Excuse me.
Okay,
And him
we never
winning.
took it serious, but I think him winning was a good thing in the end because it was
For
something
who?
new, it was something unexpected, and we always say we want unexpected things. Nobody saw that coming.
But there were so many other guys that never got a chance. Cesaro,
Yeah.
Sami Zayn. So there's so many names, like so many people that have worked so hard and done so many great things. And I'm not saying Mahal hasn't, but he's definitely, not in the top 500, right? I could say that again.
Yeah, like
Oh my
SmackDown
God.
in 2017 and things like that. And it's the same with AEW and NXT right now. It kind of just feels like for the main title, so many people need to have it. Like there's so many people who deserve to have the world title.
And never got an opportunity.
Yeah, and
But Jinder Mahal did.
yeah, all the other great wrestlers. I'd give Orton the title 25 times before I give Mahal the title the first time.
You'd give Orton the title 25 times?
Yeah, because I just
25
don't.
times 25 times more than he has now, or just 25 total? Because he's almost at 25.
Yeah, I think he's at like 13 now. I just
Yeah.
Yeah.
added to it. I just don't. I feel like was it unexpected, and unexpected is a good thing. But for me, I think Jinder Mahal's best match I gave like 3.5 stars. That's
Oh
like his
yeah,
best.
Right.
you were being nice to him apparently, because I never seen him have anything good.
Him versus Styles at Clash of Champions 2017, I
Ugh.
thought was maybe not even great.
Honestly,
He should
I was
never be in the
really
ring with AJ Styles for a title.
okay.
Yeah, but
There is something that Jinder Mahal did that was good.
He's a good character. He
Right.
should not be a WWE champion in my eye, just because, like I said before, there's so many others that haven't gotten the chance.
yeah, one big thing
Right.
and another big thing. Let's say like at the world title match when Jinder Mahal was a champion, always felt like a filler match. Rarely
Right.
main event.
Always. They didn't
Well,
even
the
put
main
it in the
event is
main event.
sometimes, but like him versus Nakamura, and I'm not even talking a filler feud. Like it felt like it like actually felt like a match on the card that just was only there to just take up just for the like the match on the card was only there so that the WWE title can be defended at like SummerSlam. Cause like there wasn't really good storylines. Jinder Mahal, it like averaged 2.5-star matches, something like that.
Average like 1.5 star.
But it's just not good. And
Honestly, I think the best thing Jinder did as WWE champion.
And his matches were like 2.5 minutes.
Right. But I think the best thing he did as WWE champion was challenge Brock Lesnar, because that really led to the whole, okay, we're going to have Raw champions versus SmackDown champions at Survivor Series. So.
yeah. But I get it. This didn't end up happening. We ended up getting AJ Styles versus Brock Lesnar, and which was a dream match for me for a while.
Oh, it was a great match.
I feel Jinder Mahal versus Lesnar probably wouldn't have been that good because Mahal's not really in anything that's good matches wise.
Honestly, I just wanted to see Jinder get his ass kicked.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind seeing that. But
Hey, he got his ass kicked by AJ Styles, and AJ Styles took the title off of him. So.
Yeah, but I thought that them at Survivor Series 2017, AJ versus Brock, I don't know which would have been better. Seeing Jinder Mahal get destroyed sounds pretty fun, but also the dream match between Brock and Styles, at least for me, it was a dream match.
Yeah.
But anyway, the whole point of this is Jinder Mahal wasn't a good WWE champion, and it would be such a dumb idea for him to win the title again.
Couldn't have been said any better than that.
For me, I feel like if his wrestling was up to par with his character skill and his charisma, then yeah, he could be world champion material. But no, his wrestling just isn't up there.
Yeah, I would say maybe get some training for maybe even. I know he's injured now, but maybe not return for another year and a half, and really get a ton of training in, and maybe he can come back and be a half decent wrestler.
We'll have to see.
Okay, let's leave it on that. I agree with this kid so much.
Right? Like, Dominic, I'm not gonna lie. When you first came into this call, I wasn't really expecting this much like input that you're giving. And
I agree. I
genuinely,
agree on a lot that you're saying. Let's just say that.
I want to thank you for coming on this podcast. Thank you for winning my predictions contest. All right. Well, moving on, of course, the main event was the Wyatt Swamp fight between Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman. So there's a lot to talk about from this match, and I think it played out pretty great.
I kind of have mixed emotions on this match because I get that Extreme Rules isn't and will never be as big as SummerSlam or even close, but it kind of just felt like they treated this match as like an episode. Kind of just felt like a promo leading up to a match at SummerSlam instead of, because Extreme Rules is still a pretty big deal. It's a pay-per-view. If the WWE Network weren't around, people would have to pay like $40 for this, and it kind of just felt like getting people excited for SummerSlam. Or at least that's just what I thought of it.
Yeah.
There was almost no wrestling
promo
in it, whether it be mind games, Bray trapping Braun Strowman. It really wasn't wrestling. It was really more of a promo.
No.
Them talking to each other, yelling at each other, mind games. Bray Wyatt in a big, I think that was like a big tank of blood. But it just wasn't, it was barely a match.
Yeah, it was a long promo. It was
5% of it was fighting, maybe. Probably more than that, but barely any of it was fighting.
Yeah. But can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
It was a long promo. Let me say this. This, again, my one thought on this. Huge Bray Wyatt fan. You know this, Josh.
Yes.
But my thing is you're hurting these guys so much by putting them in a match so close to the Boneyard match. I like the cinematic stuff, but they need to hold off for a little while because they're just trying too hard, and nothing's coming up looking as good as that Boneyard match. I don't care what anybody says.
Right.
And so,
Yeah, I agree because I feel like the Boneyard match was kind of multiple things in one. They wanted to put on a great match, but at the same time, kind of an experiment. Will these cinematic type of matches get over? And clearly, from that match, it did. And there's been some other great cinematic matches. I'd
yep.
call Money in the Bank good. I'd call the Bray Wyatt John Cena match good. But it just, like what you said, it just feels like they keep they're trying to just do what they did there again. And instead, this cinematic match just felt like it just felt like a promo. It just felt like a segment. It didn't feel like a match.
Where was like the big moments in it where, like, you know, one of them should have been spearing someone through something, or, you know, there was a lot of different objects around there they could have used where they didn't do that. And it was just, again, cinematic, not a lot of fighting. The fighting that was done was all done in a small area, kind of like on the dock or the bridge going over the water, and nothing huge happened. From not what I can remember. And the only thing that stood out in this match for me, honestly, was the ending, which I saw coming. You know, I knew that was going to be the outcome, and I knew that it was going to lead to the Fiend next. But the Sister Abigail, the Alexa Bliss thing,
Yes.
because that was pretty. Let's just say this: it was pretty stupid, and it was pretty cool at the same time. And why it's stupid is because I understand the Bray Wyatt thing, or the Braun Strowman Alexa Bliss thing with mixed match challenge. I watched the whole thing. I saw it. I was entertained by it. But Braun Strowman shouldn't be mixed in with Alexa Bliss right now. And Sister Abigail shouldn't be Alexa Bliss, if that's where they're going with this.
Yeah, that's just I feel like that just because they were mixed match partners doesn't mean they should do this. Like I think Sami Zayn and Sasha Banks were a team. No callback. There's been no even references really any at all, other than I think Jimmy or Jay and Naomi. But other than that, and Braun and Bliss, there haven't been any references for anything else at all. So I feel like it was cool because it kind of just felt like horror, and it just felt cool.
Yeah.
But also, it was so. I don't know what it's gonna mean, especially with the Fiend attacking Alexa Bliss. I feel they should be. I don't feel they need to be together just because they teamed in a mixed match tournament that they didn't even win.
No, and I think they're leading to Bliss being Sister Abigail, even after the attack with the Fiend. I don't know what that means. But I just don't like the idea of that, because Sister Abigail is supposed to be something that's been known for a long time. And why would I believe that it's Alexa Bliss now?
I
Okay,
don't know.
I'll tell you what I'm thinking about this whole thing. It just popped into my brain, actually. So, of course, you have Sister Abigail, who took in Bray Wyatt, right?
Right.
And I'm starting to think that Sister Abigail maybe, like, she's not an actual person per se. Maybe she's more like a psychological, like, maybe Bray Wyatt did have somebody who was like that, but they weren't actually named like Sister Abigail. Maybe they were just represented as them. And I feel like that's what they may be doing with Alexa Bliss. And they might represent her as the Sister Abigail for Braun Strowman.
Here's my thoughts. Sister Abigail, another big thing with it is Sister Abigail's always been someone who's been dead. That's always been the storyline. That's his like lost sister. I think Bray Wyatt, is Sister Abigail. It's an old part of him. Like a part of that was like everything that was nice inside of him was Sister Abigail. Like Sister Abigail was like a nice
Wait,
person.
I think I
And as soon as like in his mind Sister Abigail dies, and he's turned into a swamp, the Fiend. He's turned into like this creepy guy. I think that he is Sister Abigail, and that is like all his light in his life that he lost, or all his happiness in his life that he lost, and he turns into
Dominic,
a demon.
I think I got it. Sister Abigail was Husky Harris.
Sister Abigail was Husky. No, because in the puppets, there's Abby the witch and there's Huskus the pig.
Right. I don't know. I was just messing around. I was
Nah,
trying to
I
get a laugh, but didn't
Wait,
work.
but now that I think about it, Abby the witch, Sister Abigail, Abby
Yeah.
Abigail.
Yeah, that's
same
definitely
name.
Sister Abigail. Yeah.
Yeah, Joey and I mentioned that before on one of the episodes, I think.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, that was very clear to me from the beginning. I mean, that's definitely what that is. All those puppets represent something.
Right. Well, I mean, if you have Abby the witch representing Sister Abigail, you have Huskus the pig representing Husky Harris. What does Ramblin' Rabbit represent? What does
The rabbit is the rabbit he always talked about when he was Swamp Bray Wyatt, and he used to tell people to run
right?
like a rabbit. So the rabbit, I think, represents all the people, and all his enemies and all his opponents and all the people like us, because the rabbit always in the funhouse tries to warn people, right? You notice that the rabbit's always like,
Right.
you don't want to mess with him. Run. So I think the rabbit is like the voices of other people he's faced before, right? Other opponents that know his wrath, warning the next person like to run. And that's why he
That
always like grabs him by the neck or like grabs him over the mouth and tells him to shut up and stuff, because he doesn't want people to know. That's how I take that.
that's
I,
genius.
I
That's what
might
it is.
have one more scenario. So Sister Abigail was actually Bray Wyatt's sister. She was positive. She was just a very nice person. And whenever she passed away, he was never the same. And let's say, for the storyline, she's basically reborn into a rabbit, and she is Rambling Rabbit. She's always warning them to get away, while always hanging out with Bray Wyatt, and Bray Wyatt's always telling them to shut up so they don't reveal the secret.
Right. It could be that too. I mean,
But there's so many
No,
things it could be.
I really think that Abby the witch is definitely the representation for Sister Abigail.
yeah. Oh yeah.
And like, I get what you're saying, but I don't believe that. Like, I'm sorry, dude. Like, it's a cool theory though. Like, I'll give you that.
There's
deep.
a million things it could be. That's
Yeah.
another thing. Well, Alexa Bliss was kind of stupid. It does kind of get people excited for the SummerSlam match, because will they get any more answers on who Sister Abigail is?
Right. And then I was gonna mention the other puppet. Who did we not mention? We mentioned
The buzzard.
Mercy the buzzard. Yeah, and of course that's Follow the Buzzards. And then of course, if you want to bring up Mr. McBoss Man.
Well, do we have to?
But I mean, it's pretty obvious who he represents.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's obvious. That's way obvious. But the
Right.
greatest Mr. McMahon moment, or Mr. McBoss Man moment, was at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Oh, he was on commentary.
When he was on commentary with Mercy Macho Man Mercy, or Mercy Savage, something
Yeah.
to do with Macho Man Randy Savage.
Right.
But what it should have been Sister Abigail and Mr. McBoss Man.
Right.
But
Well,
yeah, so
regardless,
that's it's gonna be good going forward. It's gonna be good.
Yeah, there's over 50 scenarios. that they could go, and it's just what path will they go, and it gets people excited for SummerSlam, excited for the build to SummerSlam, excited to see what happens after SummerSlam. I feel like it was a good way to maybe hop up the viewers too.
Now what they need to do, and I know they just said don't do cinematic stuff, but they do need to do a cinematic match with the Fiend.
Yes.
Yeah, they haven't done one really yet.
They haven't done one at
Him
all.
versus Cena, he appeared a little bit at the end. Him versus Braun, if you really call it a cinematic match.
Him versus
It
Braun,
was a cinematic match.
which one did him and Braun do cinematic?
The swamp fight was
Oh
kind.
no. I'm talking about the Fiend though. I'm talking about like dark, in a dark house or an alley or something
Like
with like red lighting and stuff. I'm talking
this would be a
was,
lot better of a House of Horrors match with the Fiend rather than.
Oh yeah. Gotta do it at SummerSlam.
But regardless, I hope the Fiend takes back the title at SummerSlam.
Yeah, it seems like the thing that would make the most sense.
Yeah.
With the Fiend winning, but I think Bray wins, has a good reign. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep,
and
I agree.
I know Joey said, give the title back to the Fiend and build. If Roman's back by then, Roman and the Fiend at Mania, and have Roman take the title off of him.
Yeah, because he was supposed to. At least it really seems like the plan was. I really hope the plan wasn't for Roman originally. I doubt it was. It
Plan
shouldn't
for
have been. That would have been really dumb. But Roman was supposed to win it at Mania.
Yeah, he
Right.
should have.
And they're just gonna maybe do everything almost the same. I think one of the original plans, because there's been rumors that Goldberg only beat the Fiend because he like begged Vince because he wanted to be like someone like
No.
some like people look up to him and things like that. But I think the
No.
original plan was
No, it
what's
was
gonna
for
happen.
Reigns.
Yeah.
I think the original plan was what's gonna happen at Mania 37. Fiend versus Reigns. Reigns takes the title.
Oh yeah,
Right.
no doubt
The
about
whole
it.
reason
He's the
Goldberg
only
took
one
the
who can beat him.
title, the whole reason Goldberg took the title from the Fiend is because the Fiend was such like an popular character with the WWE universe. Like a lot of people, like even though he was supposed to be a heel, like a lot of people liked him, and they still want to get Roman as the big baby face of the company. But like they couldn't do it with the Fiend because they knew they'd boo Roman, so that's why they put the title on Goldberg.
Yeah, I can. But
They could have
I
put
also
the
feel
title on
like,
Jinder if he was back by then.
unfortunately, but I just feel like it would have
Josh.
been if the Fiend doesn't lose. I'd even take he wins it at Hell in a Cell, defeating Seth Rollins in 2019 instead of no contest and all that confusion. He just wins it there, and he has it. He beats Goldberg, so basically he's indestructible. But since Roman Reigns is the top baby face, he does like everything in his power in this huge long match, and finally is able to slay like someone, like it would be a huge storyline. Someone he's been like haunting him for months. He's finally able to take him down, and like the hero wins at the end of the story.
Yep,
Yeah.
I agree.
At least when you think of it, because you gotta like think of it. It's supposed to be Fiend's the bad guy, Roman's the good guy,
Yep.
and it's just the hero wins at the end of the story. It wasn't easy like that.
Well, I'm good with all that. I'm good with watching all that. I'll see Reigns win at Mania any day. Those are two of my favorites. So watching them at Mania, let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel that should be good, and I feel SummerSlam's gonna be good. And I'm excited for anything in the future that happens with the Fiend.
Oh, me too. Every day.
We all are.
Can't wait for a crowd to be back.
Oh yes. And Extreme Rules was a pretty good pay-per-view. You have any final thoughts like overall on the pay-per-view?
Overall, When I first watched it, I thought it was really good, but looking back at it, I think my overall, it wasn't bad, but I wouldn't call it like really good, considering I wouldn't, there was only a few matches I would really call great. I'd give it a 6.5 overall.
All right, all right, since we're rating it, like I said before, some good in-ring action. Blah, I couldn't say that. Some good in-ring action, some good finishes, and I'm all about the finishes because if the finish is not good, the match is not great. And good storytelling. So I'll give it a 7. I'll be nice enough and give it a 7.
Yeah, I think for me, honestly,
7 out of
looking
10.
back at it, I'd give it like a 5 or 6 out of 10.
Wow.
Like, it was a good pay-per-view. It had some good in-ring stuff, but at the same time, it also had its moments where it just was very lackluster.
Yeah, for me, when I first watched it, I even put on my YouTube channel, I gave it a 7.5 out of 10. But just looking back at it, it wasn't bad, but I wouldn't call it like great or good. I the 6.5.
Fair
Yeah.
enough.
All right. Well, as we're wrapping things up at the end, we usually do the plugs, shout out ourselves. So we'll go ahead and start with you, Dominic. Go ahead and shout out whatever you'd like to.
Well, can you follow me on YouTube? My name's Dominic's Wrestling Show.
All right, link will be in the description. Dominic's Wrestling Show on YouTube. Make sure you guys go subscribe to him. Joey, your turn.
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at D's Joey D's. Actually, Instagram is D's Joey D's, and Twitter is now the Joey D's. YouTube, you can find me at the Joey D's as well. And yeah, that's it. You can find me there. Thanks for joining us, guys.
Yeah, of course. And you guys know where to find me on social media. Twitter at LongNeckJosh, Instagram at LongNeckJosh with underscores. So, yeah, Dominic, thank you for joining us. It was a pleasure having you on.
Yeah, thanks,
Joey,
man.
thanks for hosting.
Yeah, thanks,
Co-hosting.
Josh. Thank you for co-hosting.
Of course.
Thanks, guys, for having me.
Yeah, of course, Dominic. It was a pleasure. Honestly, you remind me a lot of me because when I was younger, I'd think about a lot of this stuff too.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I was always into it early.
Right. So once again, Dominic, thank you so much for joining, and hopefully for SummerSlam we won't take as long to release a review. It's just that Joey and I have been swamped with busy schedules. I'm going off to college soon, and Joey, he has baseball and stuff. So
we'll be with you guys very shortly, just a couple short weeks.
Yeah. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.